Okay, this one's about this little LED light. It's made by Adu. It's a 12-inch LED, made for automotive. Runs on 12 or 24 volts. So let's take a look at this thing and see what it's about. It's not a driving light. It's not what it's made for. It's probably even illegal to use a driving light. But it's LED. There's 24 LEDs in it. You could mount this on a vehicle and use it for lighting, like I used it for cargo light on my truck, on the bed of the truck. So it would be useful for that, and because it's LED, it doesn't use a lot of power. Now, when we start talking about power with this thing, I had a little problem when I first got this, trying to figure out what was going on. It's rated for 24 volts. However, you can run it off of 12. If you run it off 24, it runs fine. It just uses half the amperage. And on 12 volts, it uses, of course, double the amperage it would on 24. Now, they've rated this at 72 watts. I can't find any way this is 72 watts. I don't know how they've done their rating, but it's not accurate. Maybe they're trying to imitate whether it was a incandescent light and saying the wattage there, but that doesn't really form up either. But anyway, it is not 72 watts, and I kind of wondered about it when I first got it, because it doesn't have enough heat sink for 72 watts. It's actually somewhere between 25 and 30 watts. Now, when I've done a lot with LED lights, and so I understand them, and there's quite a bit of heat has to be dissipated off of these LEDs when you get up into the higher wattages. And it takes quite a bit of a heat sink. Now, this does have a heat sink on it. That's what this thing is. It's a finned aluminum heat sink. It's just an aluminum extrusion. And there's 24 LEDs on it. They're SMDs, which SMD just means surface mounted. So even though maybe it's not quite what it's advertised for the wattage, you see, when I first got this thing, I thought, ooh, 72 watts. This is going to draw some amps. And it might overload the circuit I'm going to put it on. Because I'm going to put it on the cargo light circuit on the truck. And I kind of thought it was going to overload the circuit. Well, it only draws 2 amps. So it's not going to overdraw any of your circuit. So there's no problem with using it that way. It doesn't put out the kind of power that they say it does. Now, is it enough power? Well, I'm going to show you a light as a cargo light, and we'll take a look at that, and you decide for yourself whether it puts out enough light. Now, here you can see where I've mounted this. I'm not going to go through all the mounting stuff on it and so on. I don't think there's any real point to that. You can figure out where you want to mount it yourself. But this is mounted just as a cargo light. And I wanted to both do the bed and the box, so I could see things that are in the box. So a little closer here, you can see what I did. I wanted the thing to not interfere with things that are on top of the rack. And of course, there's a rack in this truck, which makes it a little different than a lot of them. But I haven't had a truck without a rack for the last 25 years, so that's what I always have. Okay, the cargo light, you can see it right there. I've tapped into that circuit, and when I turn on the cargo light, it turns that one on. You can see that little black wire coming up there, going into the tubing of the rack and going over to the light. Really, that's all there is to it. There's really not, it's not any huge deal. My rack had that center member in it so that I could lift the rack off the truck. So that's why it's that way. I will turn this thing on at night so that you can see it and see what kind of light it puts out and see if it'll do what you would like it to do. Here we have it at night. I'm going to turn this on in just a second here, and you can see what it does. Okay, there it goes on. Mostly that pretty much covers the bed. The original lights are also there too. It's maybe a little disappointing. I would like it to have a little more light than that. But in the middle of the night, it actually works pretty good. Anyway, that's it on that one.